Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of eMeet Your Design and Fashion School. And the objective of this particular session, I'm going to share my screen, is to interact with the top management of each school or the heads of each department of each school, understand the philosophy of the school, and then apply specifically to the schools that you connect with, that you think the philosophy is good for you. If you missed out on the previous webinars, you could on writing up a statement of purpose or creating a portfolio, you can go by our YouTube channel. Also, there's, choosing a school that's right for you is quite a daunting task. So we've done a webinar on how to navigate school admissions in the first place, right? And if you need more information, you can join our WhatsApp groups. There are some links that you could scan to get to this presentation. But the most important part of today's session is the interaction with the team from Srishti Manipal Institute of Art, Design and Technology. Now, for those of you who are keen on applying this year, I'm going to share the application link in the YouTube chat. So please click on that application link and you can apply from there. But to introduce the panel to you, I'm not going to read the whole page. I'll leave this for you all to come back and read this. But Amitabh Kumar is an artist, educator, and cultural producer based out of Bangalore in India. His focus is on various aspects in the comic industry, but there's a lot more that he does. Ritu Sonalika is an interdisciplinary designer and educator whose career spans spatial, product, craft, furniture, learning resources, and system design. Okay. And this is one thing you'll notice with all the faculty here. You'll find that they have a diverse range of experiences, right? And why that's important to each faculty and how that's important to you, we'll cover that in the webinar. A little bit about Sham. Sham has worked extensively in craft, product design and development, supply chain management, training and skill upgradation, funding and business development, right? You don't see that very often in faculty. Ninad is an architect with over 18 years of diverse experience in architecture, energy efficiency, and sustainable urban development, right? B.Voc is an accomplished IT professional with expertise in architecting robust IT applications and enterprise application integration, right? We also have Mahesh, who's a photojournalist, advertising photographer, corporate photographer, editorial photographer, bookmaker and publisher, bookseller, filmmaker, curator, grant maker, and most environmental conservationist and educator. All right. So this is the panel, and I'm going to stop my screen share right now. But before we go to the panel, I'm going to go into a small video that would encompass what Srishti does in a minute, right? All right, thanks. Thanks for that. Nice video from Srishti. Thanks for that. And Mahesh, I know you're having a little trouble with your video. All right. So for the audience here, Mahesh is having some trouble with this video, so his video is not showing up. Nevertheless, we have the rest of the team there, and Mahesh would definitely be there as well. So over to you all. How you want to take it from here.
Yeah, I'll just uh, give a little introduction. So I thought I'll, instead of a blank screen, uh, I'm sharing our website. I hope everybody can see it. Now, hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Mahesh Bhatt, a senior faculty member at Srishti. I thought I'd give you a brief introduction before I hand the stage over to my wonderful colleagues here. What most of you know about Srishti, now called Srishti Manipal Institute of Art Design and Technology, SMI, Srishti, you can, all are the same. We are India's premier transdisciplinary uh, uh, art and design school. We offer our curriculum is unique, the way we teach is unique, and that's what we are here to talk about today. The unique programs, courses that we offer. Uh, I have some of my colleagues, and then again, I'll come back and talk briefly about the BFA courses later on, and we'll take questions. I think Dion will help us with that. So without further ado, I'll hand over Amitabh. Shall I A for Amitabh? So let's go ahead. Uh, Amitabh will talk about a very interesting program that he runs. It's called Creative Education. Uh, we offer a B.Des in that. Over to you, Amitabh.
Great. Please remind me to change my name to Zamitab so that I'm never the first one to go. But it's always a pleasure. Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So, as Dion very kindly mentioned, I draw. That's where I come from. I'm a visual artist who has been an educator for the last decade and more, and at Srishti, now Srishti Manipal. And it's my own experience of being someone who works in the cultural space, who at Srishti has been allowed to develop a conviction and an optimism towards the role that education has to play in the futures that we build. And I think the program that I want to talk to you about uh, represents that. So the creative education program is has a decade-long legacy. It started with Shishti's interest in continuously exploring education models and institutional education models. And a lot of work has been gone into it. And it has sort of gone through many transitions as well, as have many other programs that you will hear about. Uh, and we are located and invested in understanding institutional educational models, understanding the development of the mind of the learner from ages 3 to 23 and beyond. Uh, but these models are found and invented specifically in the institutional learning space, and we take from that. And in its current avatar, we are very, very interested in taking these learning tools, these creative methodologies, and these ideas into spaces that are beyond institutional education spaces. We separate learning from education, and the creative education program is committed to designing learning experiences through a varied nature of context and to a varied nature of effects as well. Currently, we are all in a very exciting space where we are reimagining and rethinking what the program is. At Shishti, something that you'll find consistent, but since I'm the first person, I might as well say it, is we believe in the idea of the living curriculum. It's things are always changing. We also crib about it because we don't have ground to stand sometimes. But that's been the nature of the institution for the last 25 years. And at the creative education program, where we are at a space where we are convinced that learning is lifelong. We are also convinced that the role of learning is all pervasive. It escapes the institution. It leaks out of it into aspects of everyday life, more so in a post-pandemic AI-enabled, tech-driven world where changes are both rapid and extremely evident. So I think without taking too much time from my peers, I'd just like to address the learner and the learner's parent very, very directly. I think one common question that we've often heard and something that I'd like to clarify is the location of the program. And I think the best way to do it is to talk about the various profiles that the learner might achieve at the end of the program. So let's look at it from the basic purview of of creativity in education. If you are going by the name creative education and you are just looking at creativity in education, uh, there are various profiles. As a learner emerging from the institute, you could obviously teach in schools, you can work in museums, you can become a art coordinator or an art director. You could work in the higher education space. You could be an education consultant as well. These profiles are contained within our imagination of the teacher. And let's not refuse them. But fortunately, creative education is a design program, which is odd because globally it's probably the only program of its kind in the world, which is an undergraduation program located in design, focusing on education. And if you were to look at the increase in profiles, then you'd probably think that a design-led education program would give you an e-learning designer and an instructional designer and perhaps even a learning designer. But this is a design program focused in education in Srishti. And I think that's what makes it a very, very exciting proposition and a very wholesome proposition, because then we are not really looking at current industry profiles. I think, you see, the process of learning itself is akin to sort of growing a food forest, where the fruit will actually come to become in the next 5 years or the next 6 years. If you are entering Srishti right now, the world that you will exit will be closer to 29, 2030. And as we know, a lot can happen in 4 years. Now, and this really comes back to the idea of the living curriculum. If we are constantly churning the pot, because uh, being a change maker is something that's very essential in changing times. Uh, and currently, what our program in Srishti at the B.Des level, focusing on education, is confident of creating are perhaps gamification and learning strategists, XR education specialists, neurodiversity and inclusion learning specialist, social impact and community learning designer, ethical ed tech designer, an interactive exhibition designer, an edutainment specialist, a corporate trainer, a systems gamification specialist, a climate crisis storyteller, a regenerative systems designer, an organizational cultural catalyst, a planetary health educator, a resource resilient innovator, a sustainability education strategist, a cross-sector innovation facilitator, a climate resilience campaigner, a curator, an entrepreneur, a storyteller, an educator, an artist, a change maker, and a leader. This might sound very odd sitting in 2025. But I'm certain that moving into the future, a lot of these roles are what a healthy planet would demand. So yeah, thank you so much for hearing me. I think if I have the liberty to pass the baton, then I would say V for Vivek.
Go ahead, Vivek.
I think Vivek is having some trouble with his.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
He's-
very serious
Yeah.
throughout the talk, and I was wondering what I was
Ritu,
saying.
do you, Ritu, we can talk about business service and systems design.
Ritu, you're on mute.
Yep, I'll just share my screen. One sec. Are you all able to see?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Thank God. Last time it was a little challenging. Okay. So I'm speaking to you about another very, very unique program called Business Service and System Design. And in many ways, we think we understand it. But sitting in an undergrad space, it sort of creates a very different kind of a space for a 18 or a 19-year-old to be working in this space. And if let's just try to understand what service and system we really mean. So every day, the moment we get up, we are coming across so many services behind which there are systems actually sitting in to make these things work, right from the moment the milk is delivered, the garbage guy comes to us, or the phone that we are receiving, or say the fitness gym, what we are going for, or taking an Uber or a bus or whatever. All these things are actually the services which are helping us on our daily basis. And there's a huge space of design that is sitting within this to bring. Of course, we are always looking for efficiency, but we also look for now, as Amitabh rightly put, what are we going to do by 2029, 2030? How do we really see these services and systems to be more situated to what we really need? Do we really need these kind of services and systems? So this space is not just a problem-solving space. What I would really like to say is that this is a space where you're understanding the broader picture, the things that are happening around you, and how does it really fit into our everyday ecosystem, or say ecosystem of ourselves or the community or the city. So we see this whole program sitting in many, many layers and levels. So I think you all are familiar with the product design part because most of the programs have the product design. Now, just to take it to what I really mean about the service and system, yes, the product is the left side column where we are just talking about, say, the design of the bin. But there's a whole challenge or the whole design that's actually lying into how to make these product, into how to make all these people in a more technical way, how all these stakeholders really work. What is the system that make these things happen? And what is the business model that actually makes this work? So this is how the students are engaging in multiple layers of design, and also trying to understand, yes, this is also design. This is also a creative space that one can actually get into. And there are no boundaries in this space as well. So there's so if one really takes a typical student of business service and system design, and this goes across the other programs as well, because we have a choice-based navigation that's actually there. And students are not just taking courses from our own discipline, but they are able to take from other disciplines as well. And at the end of it, what we really see, and this is how the trend has been, that we see that they are coming out with very, very unique learning spaces. And these learning, they are able to, design new services and system, envision new businesses. They are becoming service designers, strategists, and all. And if we really see the kind of sectors that they are able to fit themselves in, is also pretty diverse, whether they are working in hospitality, social enterprise, food and technology, UI, UX, of course, e-commerce, healthcare, consumer lifestyle, even agri sector. So what we see that there are certain fundamentals that a BSSD works is looking at the broader framework, looking at the things in a more holistic way, and trying to find themselves, to align themselves in this whole, the systemic kind of a space, and find their own alignment. So if we just see what our courses look like, we have courses in each of these verticals, whether it's business, service, system design. And there are things that tie up all these four different elements into one as well, which may be project-based, which may be, some of these courses which is talking about ethics and so on. Now, just to give you a sense of how typically a classroom looks like, definitely it doesn't look like a typical classroom where there are desk and chair. This is a workshop happening around called Start a Company. There's a lot of interaction, a lot of peer discussions, feedbacks, and all that is happening. And it's almost like students are not just learning between each other, but the discussions and all take it to the next level. And we almost see that many at the end of it have actually started their own enterprises also, which is a very promising space as well. And you never learn if you're not learning from the failures. And this is another very important unit for us called the How Systems Work and Fail. And they'll actually go out in the city, in the markets, in their neighborhoods, and try to see what are the systems there that are happening. How does it really work? They interact with the people, talk to those people, spend time with them to understand the functioning, the nitty-gritties, the hidden aspects of what is happening there. Or one more I'll just share is the business of service design. This is also very interesting because they again create a business, a whole business environment, which takes a good 4-5 weeks. And then they're sharing with the rest of the community, Srishti community, and otherwise say the Manipal community, a Mahe community, and then they get all the feedback. So it's a very, very hands-on learning approach to things that's going on in these classrooms, and the contexts are very, very live that they are taking. And this is another very interesting and very important one, that this was a project done in the 7th semester. So all our courses end with a project, which is the 4th year. And during this time, if it's a project which is disciplinary, which happens in the 7th semester, and the 8th semester is when they're doing an interdisciplinary project, meaning it's more open-ended. So in this, they had chosen to work on health. And it's the health, we need not take it only from a typical, solving health issues, because of course they're not doctors, but we are not anything related to, health and well-being, but they are able to, because of their design thinking approach, they are able to identify the gaps in the systems and are able to deliver or are able to initiate some of these things which can bridge the gaps that are there in the system. And interestingly, I can just say, I'll just give you a last year case where students had even worked with, I don't know if you're familiar, there's a Param Science Center that's coming up in a huge way right now. And the students pitched to them that we would like to create maker center labs across the city. Let us work out a business model for them, and we will also test it out with you. And they were very successful. They were offered jobs like then and there, Or I can just give you another interesting example. These are the two girls who set up their own enterprise, like they're called Beku Bites. And you can follow their Instagram page, and they're pretty successful small enterprise at this stage that are working. So yeah, thank you.
Great. So Ninad, do you want to go next? And then we'll move to Shyam.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Dion. Thank you, everybody who's joined the webinar today. And thanks, Amitabh and Ritu, for setting the context of Srishti. Just to build on that further, what I'm going to talk about is the program called B.Des in Public Space Design. Of course, I'm not going to run through all the slides. We have a time restriction, but in case you are if anybody in the crowd is interested in this particular program, on the Srishti YouTube channel, we have a dedicated 1-hour session on the program where all the details regarding the program, current students talking about it, you can kind of refer to those discussions for more details. Yeah, I'll just pick and choose few important slides maybe from the deck. So essentially, when we are saying it's a B.Des 4-year undergraduate public space design program, We're kind of situating the program in a larger discipline of spatial design, where a learner gets an opportunity to engage with diverse scales and context of contexts which are collective in experience. Okay, they're public in nature in that sense. Yeah. A typical question everybody asks is what context generally we deal with in the program. So it's not a particular context, it's generally open. We do address planned areas, unplanned spaces, temporary spaces, permanent spaces. It could be like a small chai point, or it could be a cafe. It could be a neighborhood shop, or it could be a brand environment that we are talking about. It could be everyday meeting place to a community space. It could be a bus stop next to my house versus it could be a context around a mass transit system that we have in the neighborhood. It could be small reading rooms, or it could be public libraries. It could be healthcare spaces or hospitalities, or even sometimes, some studios that run around the context around the creative set design, exhibition design, event spaces. So the studios kind of vary, addressing these different kind of spaces. Essentially, you are engaging in a space design program where the uniqueness of the program basically lies in the interdisciplinarity nature, which also Mahesh, Amitabh, and Ritu were talking. We do have a interdisciplinary and a choice-based course navigation. So even if we have 20-30 students entering a public space design program as their major, everybody's journeys are kind of different because of the kind of choices they are making in that sense. So that's that kind of a diverse learning kind of enriches the overall studio learning experience for everybody. And it's beyond when we saying we are kind of dealing with space, in a way we are trying to address that we are going beyond the aesthetical and functional agenda of a space design program, which typically we have. And we're kind of encouraging the critical thinking through different units. There are theoretical bases and the context that we spoke about, which help you address the spatiality through lenses of equity, inclusion, gender, safety, socio-political, community engagement, and sustainable development. So some of these things kind of gets addressed. What we expect is essentially the vision is to nurture a spatial practitioner who's confident, informed, sensitive, is agile to kind of imagine different living environments. I'm skipping few of the slides, so in the interest of the time. Again, what are the typical approaches in which we learn in the studios or it's Srishti? It's through experience, it's through experimentation and through reflection. We have skill-based learning. We do digital making. We do physical model making in the workshop spaces. We build on the kind of state-of-the-art infrastructure that Srishti boasts of. So there are a lot of these maker spaces that we kind of allow students to be engaged with. There are hands-on design intervention in public spaces, like Ritu and Amitabh were saying. We always try and get real-life context in which students are kind of engaged. The studio-based learning, of course, integrates theoretical understanding. Collaboration and co-design through participatory methods again becomes a very base for the public space design program, where we kind of challenging the top-down approach of designing things where a designer thinks, a space designer thinks that he's kind of designing for the community, where we kind of turn it around as a bottom-up approach where we place ourselves in the context where there are people and we talk to people, we understand them, and then kind of the design process takes off. So that's also kind of an things. Just quick run through as to how the learning happens typically in the public space design program. It's beyond classrooms, like we are saying. Of course, there are studio interactions, but a lot of learning happens on field. So we regularly have these field visits where a lot of real world learning happens. This is typically the studio where every time the students will make presentations about their design and ideas, where the peer learning and peer feedback plays a very, very important role. Diverse kind of mediums where your ideas you are expressing. So be it physical model making through cardboards or clay or any everyday material that we are talking about. Drawing, be it freehand or technical, is kind of integrated as a part of the program, where that's a language in which we kind of communicate our spatial design ideas and concepts. Again, the infrastructure that Srishti have in terms of 3D printers, laser cutting machines, or even the physical model making or digital or the softwares to kind of imagine or communicate the ideas of the spaces to a larger audience. So these are the kind of, all the examples I'm showing you are student works, or it could be like a 3D rendering software, which kind of gives a sense of what kind of spaces people are imagining. Again, a physical model that people that becomes a very important part of understanding the larger urban context in which your program or thing is situated. Few of our, like Ritu was explaining, the program culminates with the thesis project, and this is one of the 8 semester projects that our students had done last year, where we were studying the lake ecosystem around the the Yelahanka area where we are situated, and kind of trying to put a spatial design intervention into it. And that whole mapping exercise got kind of translated into a book. Students also got some appreciation in terms of the print media. So there are these real life contexts that kind of generally help students to build that kind of a confidence. We always mess around with the natural building materials. We have the Design Earth Lab to kind of help do that. And like my fellow colleagues were pointing out, it's the major that you're entering with, but essentially it's the larger Srishti ecosystem that you are kind of dealing with. And if I just have to give you one example as to how does it work and why this particular program is very unique, often is the question that if I'm entering a program as a public space design major, but I'm also kind of in a way in a larger ecosystem of multiple other programs that are available in that case, that knowledge from the other disciplines is kind of always enhancing my understanding of how a space design is kind of thing. And that kind of sets the students apart. For example, just to give you one short example with public space design as a major, and for example, if somebody is interested more towards furniture design or uh, industrial product design kind of a domain or a discipline in that sense, then by gaining the knowledge from both the disciplines, what we've seen is our students have actually managed to kind of carve out their own space in terms of working as a spatial practitioner in the industry, involve themselves in exhibition design, scenography, set design, interior design, of course, and public furniture design. So there are many avenues that suddenly open up when you start kind of working alongside 2 or 3 disciplines. And that's true with most of the kind of programs that we have in Srishti. I'm not going to explain each of them. Yeah, and generally just jumping into it, but this is the kind of, we had done a quick survey of what our alumni are doing after graduating from public space design. You see most of them are in a kind of architecture interior design studios. At the same time, many of them have broken away from the conventional practices and kind of gone into the design studios where they're talking about brand experience, industrial and service design. They're working as spatial curators in terms of exhibition design, branding. Many of them are working as a design research into urban design, landscape, heritage conservation, community-based responsible tourism. Many of them have also gone into production design in terms of film sets. So that's what we were just trying. Just this interdisciplinarity of Srishti is kind of setting the students expand their avenues in terms of how they can actually address the spatial design as a discipline than a particular profession too, in that sense. Yeah, that's more about from me. Like I said, if you want more details about the program, please do visit the YouTube channel of Srishti, and we have a detailed program discussion around this particular thing. Thank you so much. Vivek, are you there?
Thank you.
I don't see Vivek.
Okay, he's not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's not there. So this is Mahesh Bhatt again. I have, just sharing my screen. So Vivek is not here. There are a couple of other programs that we would like to talk about, but they're not here, unfortunately, due to some technical issues. So let me tell you about a few interesting programs that we have in the B.Des space is creative and applied computation. which is, oops, what happened? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, people?
Yeah. It's you're audible. Go on.
Okay. No, is the screen sharing working? Because it's,
Screen sharing is working, but your the page is needs to be refreshed.
okay. I think it's
So maybe I'll maybe you could choose refresh the screen.
1 second. I live in a rural Bangalore, so my internet is bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's saying pause. I don't know.
Maybe would you be able to refresh that screen?
No, it's just saying, okay. Resuming. Okay. Okay. So is it now? Can you see it now?
Yes, Mesh.
Okay. So creative and applied computation is one of them. We have something called information arts and information design practices. They are two very interesting B.Des programs in the BFA space. We have contemporary art practice and film, if you are interested in that areas. You might wonder why we haven't talked about some of other programs like human-centered design, industrial arts and design practices, visual communication, strategic branding, and digital media arts, which is actually animation. These programs are, we have Srishti is, of course, a leader in, is a cutting edge, leading edge of this delivery of these courses. But we really wanted to talk to you about the other unique program which nobody else offers. That was the idea of this interaction. Now I would like to stop the screen share and hand over the stage to Shyam Aravindakshan, dear colleague Shyam. Shyam runs a very, very unique B.Voc program. It's a 3-year degree program in which is highly industry-centric, which readies you to work, and there is a lot of interaction with the industry from almost from year 1 onwards. Shyam, over to you for more on B.Voc.
Mahesh, good evening, everybody. The website which Mahesh was showcasing, on that website, you would find a 3-year undergraduate skill-based vocational program. This program culminates in a degree in Bachelor's of Vocation, or as we call it, B.Voc. Srishti has curated this industry-focused program to bridge the gap between academic learning and real-world application. This program is mainly aligned with National Skill Qualification Framework. And this is one-of-a-kind degree program that allows multiple entry and exit from the course for the students. In this is basically a 3-year program. And in this 3-year program, the students can usually progress through 6 semesters. And after each year, the students have an option to exit, say for a break for personal or work reasons. They can then later enter back to continue the same course. Our B.Voc program offers 5 courses, and I'll list them down one by one. The first being creative manufacturing. This course is dedicated to transforming traditional crafts and handlooms into formal enterprises that resonate with modern markets. Students are trained in design, merchandising, productivity, and entrepreneurship. The second is digital media production. This specialization immerses students in areas like digital storytelling, visual effects, various digital media, and provides exposure to entertainment industries. The third is graphic art and design practices. This course has two pathways, graphic design and illustrations. Both teach students the craft of visual storytelling across various mediums. From advertising to web design, graduates are prepared to make contributions to the visual communication landscape. The fourth is interior design and build. This course focuses on creation of functional and aesthetically pleasing interior spaces. This specialization combines design principles with practical making and construction skills. You would have seen a few images of the public space design, which contributes. Students gain hands-on experience, preparing them to meet global demand of interior design in mainly retail and hospitality sector. Last but not the least, user interface and interaction design. This is Srishti's take on UI UX design. This pathway equips students with the expertise to design seamless interactions across applications, websites, and virtual experience, ensuring user-centric solutions in the IT and media sectors. So this sums up the courses offered by B.Voc. Beyond knowledge and technical skills, the B.Voc program commits to the value of creative collaboration and societal impact mainly. Our curriculum has great exposure to hands-on projects, mentorship from industry professionals, and internships are part of the program. On completion of this program, our graduates, most of them find their own job in industries through their own linkages. Some of them take up freelancing. And those who want to continue their academic journey, they can enroll into a one-year postgraduate diploma program or a Masters of Arts program, which Srishti offers. And both of them leads to a PhD program, again, what Srishti offers them. Well, with this, I will leave you back with Mahesh.
Yeah, thank you very much for that quick and concise, precise information. So that, in a nutshell, again, we offer several very unique undergraduate programs. And just to add, B.Voc is for focused learners. We have learners who are really saying that, I really know what I want to do, what I want to learn. So therefore, give me a course that offers focused learning. So that I can finish my undergraduation in 3 years and maybe get to work, and then perhaps I'll come back to do my post-graduation. So that's what B.Voc is for people who are expansive, people who, we really have students who come and say, I want to explore, there are the unique programs that we talked about, the 4-year undergraduate programs offer exactly that. A freedom to explore and experiment. Our admissions are on right now. And if you have any, Dion, can we take questions now?
Yes, yes, we can. And there are a few questions that have come in already. Hold on. Right. So I think the first question is from Purvi, who's asking, what do you mean by interdisciplinarity? Right? Could someone elaborate on that?
So all of us can. Amitabh, do you want to go ahead?
To tell you what the moon is, I'll tell you what the moon is not. No, I think at Srishti, there are various kinds of relationships between disciplines that we explore and encourage. And I mean, within an interdisciplinary conversation, as Ninad has had, like, I think Ninad's map was a beautiful one. Ninad, would it be possible for you to share screen and share that? I think it was a beautiful response to this question. And I think all of us should have that map. This is actually a great way to represent, where actually for us, like for creative education, we are completely codependent on other disciplines. It's not, we provide a certain kind of impetus and a certain kind of context, but in a manner that Ninad has located at the PSD at the center, I think Ritu can locate BSSD at the center. I can locate
Correct.
creative education at the center, and that, in a nutshell, is how I would look at an interdisciplinary conversation because of the pie charts. Of course, there is the transdisciplinary vision and the multidisciplinary vision, and many other kinds of disciplinary guftagoos that happen. But Ritu, Ninad, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll come pitch in a little to
Yeah.
give you a more on exactly how it works, Purvi. In this 4-year degree program, in the first year is maybe Ninad, you want to keep sharing the screen? It's a nice thing.
Okay. No issues. I thought
And
you
anyway, I don't have my video, so
fair enough.
so yeah,
Okay.
thank you. So in first year, Purvi, we have the foundation program is generic in the sense it is the same for everybody who's enrolled, whether they have enrolled in taken film as their major or public space design as their major. It is basically where we you have gone through a certain kind of learning in first 12 years of your education, and we learn. I'm not saying we teach, we learn, because as facilitators we also learn with you in a very different manner, by making, by doing things, by experimenting, by failing, by succeeding, in many different ways. So that's we allow that learning of new way of learning, if you will. And in second and third year, everybody has to get 60% of their credit from their major, the courses offered by their majors, and 40% from their minors. So therefore, you're automatically you learn courses offered by different programs. For example, if you have taken creative education as your major, you may do a film course or a photography course. Like from next Monday onwards, I'm going to start a photography workshop. I have students from different disciplines, from business service systems design to industrial arts to visual communication. So that's what it is. So it really allows you to explore. We have students who know that they want to get into film industry, but they have taken contemporary art practice as their major. So because they want to experiment. And there are some films that are actually running on our Instagram page and on YouTube where students are speaking about our courses. You might want to see it. So that's what, in a nutshell, interdisciplinarity is. There's more to talk, but yeah, this is what it is. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So for the audience here, if you want to understand the difference between, because a few terms were used, right? So interdisciplinarity, multidiscipline, and transdiscipline. These are words used, and sometimes it could be confusing and overwhelming. And to understand better, I've done that webinar called Navigating Design School Admissions. In that, I have also covered this topic. And it's a very, very important factor, because to understand what this means, because it's everyone has a certain aspect or an idea in mind, right? And it's important that you understand this and choose a school that aligns with that ideology, right? So that's important that you understand. So there's a question from Sushil who's asking, is the decision wise to choose B.Voc over B.Des at SMI? All right.
Yeah.
Fees is one aspect of it. All right. Number one is the fees consideration, and number two is the opportunity aspect. Which one has more opportunity? Does B.Des have more or B.Voc?
Yeah. Let me take that question. What's the name of the student?
Sushil Jain is the parent name.
Sushil, all the programs have equal opportunities. Like for example, students who have taken in B.Des who have taken creative and applied computation have become filmmakers. Somebody who's taken public space design has become an entrepreneur. So they chart their own journeys. But why B.Voc? Why should one take B.Voc? Is that there are students who are focused learners. There is a film that we have on our YouTube, also on our social media channels, that is including Instagram, about B.Voc, where students have spoken. So the student who said they really wanted to do film, if they knew very well that film is what they wanted to study, so they took B.Voc program because it is focused. So if the learner is focused, then B.Voc is good. So that's what I would say. Sham, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what Mahesh has mentioned, that it is quite course focused. So unlike the transdisciplinary, here everything is planned for that particular course. All the units are planned for the course itself. There is very few opportunity for the student to do something else other than what the program is offering.
Yeah, I hope we have answered the question.
Yeah. So Sushil, I hope that your doubts are clarified. Just to build up on what they said, so many I get a lot of these questions from parents and students. Is if I join Srishti, will I get a job at the end of it, right? So the B.Voc program is designed for those people who want that job at the end of the program. Is that something that I can conclude from this, Sham?
No. The jobs are, we really don't have a problem of people not finding the job. I've never come across that. Some people may get it immediately. Some people may take a couple of months after they graduate. But I'm yet to come across an alumni who says, "Hey, I don't have anything to do. I don't have a job." Yeah. In the last almost 10 years at Srishti. I'm sure Ritu and Amitabh have been there longer. I mean, they would vouch for it. B.Voc is for focused learners. You know what I mean? When I say focused learners, they're the students who really want to know, who really know what they want to learn. I want to learn graphic arts and design, but I want to learn graphic design, nothing else. I don't want to go into film. I don't want major minor business. I just want to do this. They're different kind of learners. So B.Voc is meant for those kind of learners. I would really suggest that they look at that film, which is on the B.Voc page, the landing page that's on our website, to really understand it. It's a very short 2.5-minute film, and it'll give them a really good overview what B.Voc is.
Mahesh, can I add something?
Please go ahead.
So I was part of the B.Voc family very intimately, and I understand the program, and I love the program as well. I think it's a wonderful program. However, I think it's also there are a couple of different ways that it's different from the B.Des program, and primarily it's its approach to the idea of industry. We have various skill councils that define our programs, and it is invested within the learner, fitting in a very clear industrial landscape. I'll give you an example of the B.Des or the BFA program through a learner story and an alumni story, if I may. This wonderful student of mine graduated from the 8th semester project, and he went on. His entire project was about the industry institution gap and what is the institution really training you for. And his thesis was that the industry doesn't know what it wants. And as a designer, it's my job to tell the industry what my profile and my role is. It's a thesis project, so it's all theoretical so far. He graduates and he applies for jobs and he gets a graphic designer's job. And in his interview, he stresses that, okay, I can do this job. I'm interested in it. But you know what? I think your industry needs something else. And he gives a totally different profile of a senior strategist. And the company doesn't get back after a week. After 2 weeks, the company gets back, creating a different job profile for said student, which is a hybrid role that even that industry did not know that it existed. So I think here, with the way that the industries are imagined as malleable and non-malleable, become a very big defining sort of a separation between B.Voc and the B.Des program. Ritu, Ninad?
Yeah, I think we all have some story or other to say that very often industry is just identified with certain skills. Okay, can this person come and do this or not? But the moment that person comes in, they say, no, there's more to this person to that one can actually benefit it from, you know. So what I can say definitely for the B.Des students is they take little while to find their job because they want to be challenged, you know. And there are certain ways in which we see that the industry opens up for them to to be able to fit that profile into the thing. So I have had in BSSD, they have worked with Mindtree. I mean, I'm only telling the bigger names right now because there is really no space because they don't really understand how a 21, 22-year-old can be graduating from a business design or business service system design. What is it kind of a thing? We have been facing this from a long time, you know. But after they're there in the thing, they understand, okay, there are certain things that they can do, which is not really, which is not even in one department sitting, you know. It's a sitting across in many departments. So that is what has been interesting, that students have been able to carve their spaces within the industry. So, and I'm sure, I mean, I'm sure Ninad will have even more interesting
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
stories.
don't want to repeat the whole thing what you guys are saying, but like you're saying, all of us have examples where also what happens is, for example, I'll come from a space design perspective, is architecture and interiors are the most known professions that we have when you enter at the age of 18 and 19. And that's where everybody enters. That's your entry level thing. And as you spend 4 years understanding different diverse disciplines and programs that are there, and they kind of add value to your learning, space design, automatically you start finding that, okay, this is beyond. I just thought this is my area of interest, but I'm kind of leaning towards this kind of a track now. And this is what interests me more. Yeah. So my perception has changed. You also grow as a student in 4 years. Like we're saying, we're talking about 2025, you're graduating in 2029. Industry has changed already in 4 years. Yeah, we've been talking like 10 years back. If you see any architecture office configuration, 95% of them would be architects, and 5% would be the support staff that you have to run an office. Today, if you go to any architectural office, already the configuration has changed drastically. I have content creators, I have visualizers, I have filmmakers. I mean, there are so many varied disciplines that have come into architecture already. Yeah, so industry is also becoming very dynamic in that sense, and that's how, and then that whole ecosystem kind of addresses that dynamism that exists in the industry.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks for that. We probably need to, it's already 6, so we'd like to extend this for a bit because there are a few more questions, but we'll try and address the questions quickly. Sushil still finds this question unanswered, which says, is the decision wise to choose B.Voc over B.Des? So Sushil, this question was addressed by Mahesh and the team. And the answer to that was, you need to see what you want, right? Does the student want a very focused program or a very exploratory program, right? If they want the focus program, if that's what they really want, then let me do graphics, let me do UI UX, then go there and study that, right? So that comes under the B.Voc program. But if the student wants to kind of explore, saying, yeah, I'm interested in graphics, but I would also like to probably take something in film, I would try like something in interaction, and maybe I'll figure out a unique space for myself, then the B.Des program would be a better option. Sushil, I hope that answers your question. Multiple questions. From a fees point of view. Mahesh, would you like to touch upon the fees structure for B.Des and B.Voc? From that point of view, what's the difference in the fee?
I think B.Voc is slightly less than the B.Des BFA. B.Voc is, I think, I have to look at the exact feed. It's on our website. Let me take a minute, please.
Yeah. So probably, Sushil, I think that information is available on the website, right?
It's there on the website.
Yeah.
Very much on the website.
Maybe, Mahesh, if you can share the link with me, I'll post it in the YouTube chat. Yeah.
I will share it right now.
Yeah, we'll take a few other questions to them. A lot of questions on placements, right? How does placements work? Question from Kavita. Question from Purvi is, could you let us know more about placements and internships? Soul Sisters are saying some information on placement, median packages, and what companies generally come for placement, right? So placements, internships, median packages, what companies? If this can be addressed.
Sure. Internships, let me take internships. One is in B.Des BFA, in the 4-year undergraduate professional program. Every student have to do an 3-month long internship at the end of their 3rd year or 6th semester. And the university college actively assists the students with, finding placements, in the sense we give them a list of companies they have to actually write, and it's a good experience for them to write and send their CVs, etc. Faculty members also on their personal, they open up their personal Rolodex, so to speak, to get internships for the students. That helps them they have to do it. It's a must. So everybody does it. B.Voc, on the other hand, is so closely linked to the industry. So from 2nd year onwards, students are working a lot with the industry, and we have connections with several industries. And in B.Voc, students in the 3rd year are almost, they're hardly in college, they're working outside. Yeah. Now, we don't do internships in the traditional sense, in the sense you have so many companies coming and sitting and interviewing. It doesn't happen. But we are currently in the process of launching something called SMI Connect. That is an online platform where students, the companies can come in and post their requirement, and students can directly interact with the companies. So we are launching that. Right from what kind of companies we interact with, right from Google's and companies such as tech companies such as Google and other large tech companies, to startups. Some of them even founded by our own alumni. We have a huge list. It may be difficult for me to say all their names at this time, but these are the companies that come and interact with us. But again, let me say that we do not do placements in the traditional sense that one is accustomed to. Now, the third answer is what kind of what was the pay packages?
Yeah, the average place packages, median packages.
My colleagues, please correct me if I'm wrong. But it could be anywhere between. I do want to hazard a guess, because it ranges, depending on the industry, where they are, students' interest, and several of us students are also starting their own enterprises. But all I can say at this point in time is that we really our students don't have the issue of not finding a job. Amitabh or Ninad, Ritu, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I find it a really odd question. I'm sorry, because I think this is an industry relevant question. It's not a pay packages are sector based, are industry based. All entry level pay are, like for a recent graduate, are, to my mind, standardized. Depends on the industry that you're part of. I fail to understand how the institution sets pay packages or anything of the sort. Please check me if I'm wrong, Ritu Ninad. Is it our denomination? I'm unsure. In the sense that I know students from multiple educational contexts who enter the industry. And it's the industry that they enter that defines the pay package. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not commenting on the pay package, but just to add to the campus placement aspect of it, the other thing that happens in Srishti quite a lot is the student exhibitions that we have every semester, where the students kind of put out their work. Like on Saturday, if anybody is in Bangalore, we are having an open house at Srishti, where students will be putting up their work. And at the same, for these kind of exhibitions and events, we do call our networks from the industries, and people come and witness the work that students are doing. In fact, there are quite a live kind of events that are happening in the city currently, where our students are already displaying their work, thesis work and all. The Namaraste event that is happening in Bangalore, where most of our creative art practitioners and product designers are already displaying their work, which is kind of widely acclaimed. So that's also another way in which your work is kind of recognized by the industry people, and they kind of approach you through these events. And I think that's a more organic kind of a way in which our student work is kind of made visible to the society than a campus placement happening in one enclosed room inside, in that sense.
I would also just like to add, like, industries like Wipro, Havels, and all are actually coming and doing a semester-long project with us. So though it remains as an academic space, and we totally believe that industry should remain at the industry level, and what we want as a Srishti to be and the way to function, it should not totally overpower it. So, so there are a lot of spaces in which the industry is linked. And right now, like a Havels project is going on, and right now, like rightly pointed by Ninad, and I'm just coming from there, when Namma Raste, the event that's actually happening, students are speaking to like common citizens right now, explaining what kind of a project that they have done about mobility. So they find their own spaces. I think that's more important to understand, not just always about the job, but if they find their own niche area, which is very unique, the people are there to take it up, Right now, they were all these, the World Research Institute and all who were part of it were very, very curious to understand what you all have done, So we actively participate in a lot of events that are happening across the city and make sure students are actually very actively participating and interacting with the people. So that way, there's a lot of opportunity in which this interaction happens. 3 weeks back, even the Bangalore Design Week happened, where 1,000 plus and a lot of designers actually came there. And there was, again, the students were showcasing and talking to the people. So that way I can say that there's no placement, but students get enough opportunity to meet and interact and to leave a mark, basically.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one small idea. Sorry, Dion, I know we really stretched it, but I think the concept of the creative economy is one that is really taking public consciousness, and we understand what the word means now better than we did, let's say, a decade ago. And that's the direct market impact that an institution like Srishti has, where we are really gearing up for, and the tragedy that India's contribution to global creative economy is 4%, leaves a lot of work left to be done at Srishti and institutions like this that are really powering that space. And I'm talking a range of jobs. And the index to measure creative economy is job creation. So I feel rather than understand placements or nitty-gritties, I think if you understand our mission and our impact at a larger global scale, then perhaps that's a better way to sort of map the industries that we
All
aspire.
right. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, so a different angle I'm coming from, all right? Because in my role, I've spoken to a lot of people from industry, and the feedback from industry is that the Srishti students are really good, right? So, on a reverse side, the industry recognizes the difference of approach from a Srishti student, and they find that very interesting. Of course, like all the panelists mentioned, it depends on the job and the job role, right? Because if that's what the industry is looking for, then they get the right student, right? And if they're looking for, more specific job roles, then they're looking for, again, specific students who are skilled in a certain area. But that's what I thought I'd just add to this conversation. Purvi is asking, is there any exchange programs available at Srishti?
Yes, of course. At the in their fifth semester, students who are in their they can do their exchange program. They can go to either Europe or US. I hope that's what she's talking about. And we have several agreements, MOUs with many interesting colleges. The list is again on our website. They can go and we have an office setup, administrative setup, which actively helps them to find the exchange program and of their choice and facilitates that. We have a very active exchange program. A lot of students from abroad come to Srishti for a semester as well.
Okay. Right. So Purvi, I think if you want more information, you can definitely reach out to the Srishti team. And the final question is from Soul Sisters, who's asking, is the discipline chosen by the students or the teachers? All right. So I asked for a little elaboration on this. I think, in an NID context, the students don't get to choose their discipline in the first year, right? They finish the first year foundation, and then in the second year, they get to choose from the options that are left, right? So based on their performance, how they perform in the first year, the topper students get to choose first, and the ones who are trailing at the end of the first year, they may not get the subject that they want. So the question is, at Srishti, how does that work? Do students get to choose the subject that they want?
Ritu, would you like to answer?
No, I think Mahesh, you have to answer. I don't want to go wrong there.
From the admissions perspective, students have the option to select the course. They apply to the course they want to join. So they can select one or more options in which they would like to join. And basis the seats available and the applications coming in, as well as the results, the seats are then allocated. And here as well, what happens is, depending upon the assessment, grades received during entrance, students would be allocated to certain courses. They will be offered those courses. And in case, so we have seen in post foundation that some of the students want to join some other course, and if we have seat there, the students can sort of get onto the other course.
Yeah, basically, you can choose your course in a sense. If you're applying for the undergraduate professional program, that is B.Des or BFA, you can choose there are 11 courses. You can choose all 11 in the order of preference. Yeah, or in B.Voc there are 5, and you can choose all of them in the order of preference. And you can get, depending on your performance in the entrance test, you will be offered certain courses. And it really doesn't matter. That's how it is. And because in the undergraduate professional program, because of the transdisciplinarity that we talked about, people with, as I had mentioned earlier, somebody who enrolled into creative and applied computation has become a filmmaker, or somebody who's a film student actually has become a tennis coach. So there are many such interesting stories.
Yeah, I think choice is something that we pride ourselves over. And I think enabling the learner is one of our core values at Srishti. So, and a lot of work goes behind the scenes. As you can imagine, these are like agile systems that we are creating that are changing every day. The major difference between B.Voc and B.Des in that sense is B.Voc has a prescribed curriculum. GADP will have one curriculum, which moves on. It's not a choice-based space. In Srishti, each student is a curriculum. And that's how, and we take deep pride in that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Last question I'm taking from Purvi. What are the universities that SMI tied up with for exchange programs? And do all students get to choose from it, or is it reserved for few?
The list is on a website. I'll share the link with you, Dion, because list is exhaustive. And I don't know, can I put it in the chat here? I'll try. Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
I
Yeah.
got it. I'm posting it.
Yeah,
All right.
I
All right.
would suggest that Purvi that she goes through this list because it's very exhaustive, and yeah, they can
All
choose
right.
from.
Maybe I
Or-
can just add a line or two that even after you have, firstly, after the list, you look into the program and you kind of choose it, but you need your portfolio in place, because that is also internally evaluated by us, and then it's sent to the whichever one you're applying for, and then based on the feedback and all, and plus you need a certain grades and all that. So yes, it is a process that's integrated into the system. You can't just, not everybody gets to just do it, you have to work towards it.
All right. All right. Now, Kavita's found the next question is from Kavita. She's found a very nice way to ask about the pay packages. Okay. So she's saying, is there good return on investment after studying in Srishti? So I'll let you answer that.
I would suggest that Kavita to go to our Instagram page, and there is a whole lot of alumni speak, where students have talked about their experience at Srishti. So I would suggest that she go through it, and they have their own Instagram accounts, and she's most welcome to contact the student directly and ask them.
I would say even go to their LinkedIn accounts, because that's very
Yes.
easy to identify, and reach out to them, and you will get a very good sense, much more reassuring than what we will speak if you reach out to the alumni directly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think Kavita, it's a very difficult question to answer as well, because return on investment, these are very fluid terms, right? So what someone perceives as value, somebody else may not see the same, right?
Absolutely.
But the essence of what we discussed here in the session is the value that that each department provides, and the lens that they go to provide a very diverse environment and create those opportunities for you. And not only, right from the first year, right through the years, through, all the activities, through the exhibitions and the opportunities, there's this tremendous opportunities that they create for you. And I guess it's a platform that they create. You want a focused program, you get that. You want a diverse, more exploratory program, you get that. So it's like a buffet, all right? And what you take from that buffet is up to you. And I'm sure you will see the return on investment, based on the choices that you make. All
Can I
right?
also ask what you mean by return? I think I'm really sorry for taking extra time, but I'm both a parent and a child. And for me, I think the return of investments for my parents would be that I am a decent human being. I found my footing with my relationship with the world, and I hope that the same for my son. Is it a mathematical conversation that in my life I've spent so much money towards my child's education from the age 3 to 23, and if the expectation is for the money if the expectation is return of money, then I think perhaps it's an introspective moment more than a public question.
No, it's I would say, Dion, is that my niece graduated from Srishti 3 years ago, and she's very happy with. She got a job immediately, and she's very happy with and so is her father. My brother-in-law. So because my brother-in-law told my niece that this is it. 4 years we have paid for your education. Now you got to stand on your own feet, and she did. And my own niece. So yeah.
All right. Right. So with that, it comes to the end of the session. Thank you so much to the panelists from Srishti Manipal Institute, and of course to the audience for asking so many good qualitative questions. Always happy when we receive questions like these. All right. So hopefully your questions are answered, and you can go straight to the application link. In fact, the application link has been pinned on the YouTube chat. All the links that we spoke about and posted in the chat have also been added to the description of this webinar. So at any point of time, you can watch this webinar again, go to the description, click on the links, and you'll find everything there, right? Thanks a lot to everybody. If the panel could remain here, I'll end the live session.
Thank you.